Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. It's Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Successfully. Successfully is an elite accountability practice, so that makes me your personal professional butt kicker. Hello, everyone. Hello. Happy Monday. I really hope that you're living your best lives. I hope that August has been so fulfilling for you and meaty and juicy and filled with opportunities. I hope you are crushing August because I know I am. I know I am. So I hope the same for you. And I hope that you are stepping into your full power. I feel like August is that great transitional month where we're transitioning from summer fun to kind of getting back into our fall routine to finish up the year strong. So we're so glad you're here. And so this August is big. It's big for a number of reasons. My puppy just turned 2, so I had a pandemic puppy. So Dante is 2 years old. My birthday is coming up. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. Just know I'm over 40. And of course, I'm coming up on my 3-year anniversary of being a full-time coach. So I successfully transitioned out of corporate America. And so this has been a great time of reflection for me in terms of what that's meant, in terms of how we've built this practice, and in terms of like how we will be working with our clients going forward. We have a lot of cool things to share with you in the coming weeks. And so I really wanted to kind of double down on some of my experiences and really sharing my personal corporate escape route with you. I think that this community is dedicated to our high performing part time coaches and consultants who are looking to add 20 new clients in 12 months or less. That is why we built this community. And so I thought it would only be fair that I kind of share the very tactical things that I did, and knowing that some of this stuff, I'm going to be real honest with you, I'm speaking from a place of privilege. I'm very blessed in like my network. I leveraged a lot of my network to do this, and you may not be in the same position to leverage your network the way that I leverage mine, but know that, in the process, I thought very creatively about what I wanted to do to make this transition out. And forgive me, I don't have any lipstick on today. I put on some lip balm, but my red lipstick to match my red outfit. Forgive me, I forgot to put my lipstick on. So, so what do I want to talk about first? So, before we get into that, I do want to remind everyone in the community that you have a personal concierge. So, Lucille, raise your hand, say hello to the good people. Lucille is your personal concierge. So, if there's any questions that you have, or you want to book a strategy session with me, or there's a particular piece of the puzzle that you feel like you're missing, know that we have built a lot of resources and tools for this community, and for those just even, you know, slightly related to the community. So know that we're here to serve, 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 and we're happy to answer any and all of your questions. So hi, Dr. Chanel, good to see you. And so I wanted to kind of share before I uh, put my whole plan into motion. There were a number of things that I set up, to actually make the transition. So I like to call it a pre-plan, because it wasn't necessary. The rest of the plan was predicated on these other things happening. So yeah, so like there was some pre-plan before I actually executed on the plan. So first, I want to take you back. I want to take you back. I want to say it was 2018, because I transitioned out in 2019. So I was having coffee with one of my mentors. And again, I know that I'm very blessed, very fortunate, and I'm speaking from a place of privilege when I tell this next story. And so, like, your experience may not be the same as mine, but I was having coffee with a mentor, loving mentor, one of the first one of the first business owners to hire me to teach a workshop, right? So, like, has always supported my successfully journey, has been there from day one, and has done her absolute best to amplify and to be a mentor as another business owner, as I built out a team and all of those things. And so we were sitting having coffee, and it was just one of those coffee things, right? We're just having coffee to catch up. And she was like, "So what's your plan for Success Bully next year?" And of course, me being the overachiever that I am, I did everything but show her a slide deck. like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And at the time, I'm still employed full time. I am still leading a global PR team. I am still very much employed at the time. And so she listened thoughtfully and kind of nodded and just, was very supportive. But then said in the kindest of voices, she said, "When are you going to sleep? When are you going to sleep?" And it was an honest question because I haven't factored sleep into this, grandiose plan that I was going to execute on. I didn't factor sleep in at all. Sleep was not on my radar at all. She's like, "So when are you going to sleep? It sounds like, do you even have time to do all of those things?" And that one powerful question sent us down a pathway together where I said, you know what I would really love? If I could, reduce my hours, work part time, still keep health insurance, and kind of ease on out of corporate. That's what I would really love. I would really love that. And so, we finish up coffee, we hug, we go our separate ways. And then a few days later, I get an email with the subject line, all caps, that was like, "I'm serious about this." So, again, my background um, pre-professional butt kicker was in public relations. My mentor had a public relations and marketing agency. And she said, "I want to help you with this. I want to help you with this." And so we put together a plan where, like, here's what I need to make. We did a step down. So, I kind of started at like 32 hours. Then it was like 28, 24, 20, and we kind of stepped down. And as my Success Bully salary increased, my time at the agency decreased, right? And we worked back from, August 20th was my 40th birthday. Y'all can do the math, whatever. It was my 40th birthday, and I knew I wanted to be done with corporate by my 40th. So, of course, my last day in corporate was August 19th. And so it was we hatched this whole plan to transition out to support me. So I had that, the check every 2 weeks, that security of having a paycheck, having health insurance while I made this transition out. Now, again, I'm speaking from a place of privilege that I had a mentor in my network that could support me that way. I am very grateful that I had that type of support. And I hope that I am given the opportunity to support another growing entrepreneur the same way. I hope that in my journey, my Success Bully journey, that I can do something that give this same gift to someone else. I hope that I'm able to do that. And so this gift was so amazing because I was able to not stress about my day to day in terms of my financial needs, and not worry about, well, if I fall and hurt myself, I don't have health insurance. I didn't have to worry about all of that. And even after I transitioned out, I was able to pay Cobra and stay on their insurance plan a little longer, right? Because it was better than the insurance I could get for myself. And so, very fortunate. But what I want to assure you right now is to think creatively about your transition. Think creatively that, when we're thinking about, um when we're thinking about making this change, making this shift, and really going all in on our businesses, this doesn't have to be an all or nothing. It doesn't have to be a yes or no. It can be a yes and, right? You have options. You have options. And I want to invite you to think creatively about your transition, right? So you have the option of asking for reduced hours. Like, I recently had a client do this, that asked to go down to 4 days a week, and they were willing to negotiate that with her so that she would have one full day during the week to work on her business, right? So you can think creatively. So can you split your role? Can you work fewer hours? It doesn't have to be work full time for someone else or work full time for yourself. It's a yes and. It's not a either or. Or maybe it's like me. I left my full time job to take a role that had the built in transition for me, right? The role was created so that I could transition out of it in a few months, right? And so I want to extend that. I want you to think creatively, like, can you have that conversation? Or maybe it's just a matter of every other Friday off or every other Tuesday off. It may not even be a matter of reducing your hours. Maybe it's using your vacation days differently. Or maybe it's working a longer day. Mondays and Tuesdays, your days are a little longer so that you can have a half day one day during the week, right? There are so many different creative solutions. And so that's my first point in your pre-plan. Your pre-plan, because you can build how you're going to actually do the thing when you know how much time you have to devote to the thing, right? And you still got to sleep, you still got to eat, you still got to take care of yourself, you still got to show up for your obligations, you still got to show up for your family, right? You still have to you know still have to to participate, right? You still got to show up in life. So like the first thing is asking, is there some creative way that you can move your hours around at your current job? Like could you get one day off a week? Can you go part-time? Can you go down to half-time? Can you split the role with somebody? Maybe there's somebody coming back to the workforce and they're not ready for full-time yet, or they're coming back from maternity leave. Maybe you can split a role. There are so many different creative solutions that we don't even know that we have the agency to ask for, right? You can ask. You can ask. You are well within your right to ask for reduced hours, to figure out a way to make this a smoother transition. Because I think sometimes the fear of not getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, and the fear of not having health insurance, and the fear of not having benefits, or not having a 401k, keeps people in the golden handcuffs at their desk, right? And the reality is, your business will do all those things for you. It will. It may take you a little while to get there, but your business will do all those things for you. But if you're not giving enough time to it, there's only so much growth you can have working nights and weekends. There's only so, like, at a certain point, I felt like the choice was going to be made for me. You know what I mean? Like, at a certain point, I was running out of time to build my business, right? And so there's all these different options. There's so many different creative ways to approach this so that you have your security blanket, but you have a little more time to execute on your big dream. There's no harm in asking. There's no harm in asking and coming up with a creative solution, right? Because they're going into your manager's office and quitting because, like, you think that's the right thing to do because you want to work on your business, but you haven't necessarily perfected your skill set as an entrepreneur where you can consistently drive revenue, where you know what to do to move things forward in your business. I don't want you to have to quit and then have to run back and get a job because you haven't built that skill set. So at reduced hours, sharing a role, front loading the week, using your vacation days creatively. There are a number of different ways that you can work around this so that you know exactly how much time you're going to have available to put to your business. And like I said, it's not an either or, it's not an all or nothing, it's a yes and. Yes and. You can think creatively about this. And so, like, that was my first part of the pre-plan, was getting a handle on how much time I was going to have to devote to my business, because I got to a place where it was a capacity issue, right? Where I didn't have the capacity to take on more clients because there weren't enough hours in the day for me, right? And so freeing up capacity, figuring out a creative way to make this transition has been an incredible gift. And if you are, looking for an we got roles here at Success Bully. If you're looking to make a creative transition, we can talk about that too. The next thing I did in my pre-plan was I hired a coach's coach, right? So I hired a coach's coach, knowing that um, I felt like I had a handle on my business. I had a handle on my business as a part-time side hustler, still working, still getting, still full benefits, 401k. Still, I had a handle on my business in that capacity. What I hadn't done before was make the transition, but then structure my days as a full-time entrepreneur. It's like when you work for yourself and you're not reporting your time to anybody else, and you are the monarch of your time, you're ruling your time, it's very easy to lose an entire day, if not an entire week. And so I actually hired a coach's coach um, to help me accelerate on this big goal. We knew what the goal was. I knew the timeline. I needed that neutral third party expertise where it wasn't my friends and family. It wasn't another entrepreneur that it was in the same position as me. It was someone who had already been where I wanted to go. Right. And the investment that I made in that coaching set me up for the success to actually transition out, right? To actually transition out. And so, I've been yelling this on the internet, and I know that it's a challenge to find the right coach. It's a challenge to find something that's not a get rich quick scheme where you're investing a bunch of money and you get no return on that investment. So, I mean, I say this with all love: vet, ask the right questions, make sure your values are aligned, and make sure it's not a gimmick. Make sure that it's holistically looking at your business. And so, like, if you're looking to accelerate on a big goal, whether that's weight loss, whether that's building your business, whether that's transitioning out, whether that's, finishing your first book, hire a coach, right? Your goal is too important to you to just leave it to chance, to leave it to um, you know, leave it to happenstance that you wish and hope it comes true, right? So get somebody to help you there. Right. And so, like, the third thing that I did in the pre plan, so this is before we actually broke down what exactly needed to happen. These were all the things that went into the preparation to make the transition. So it was figuring out that reduction in hours at my current job. So that was transitioning into a role where I could work the reduced hours, keep the benefits, and not lead a whole team, and focus in on spending more time with my business. I hired a coach. And then finally, I really, really got really clear about the numbers and the timeline, right? Numbers and the timeline. So, like, no, the way that I kind of thought of it, and I want to invite you to think of it this way too: have your good, better, best numbers. So, good is like what you'll need to make so that you feel comfortable and confident and you have the discipline to leave. Better would, give you a little more security, and the best is absolute. That's the center of the bullseye. That is the absolute best for you, right? And I think that sometimes we get caught up in trying to hit a very specific revenue number before we'll leave, when the reality is, if you have the skill sets, you understand how money flows in and out of your business, you have the confidence, you have a bit of a pipeline, you can actually feel comfortable making that move, right? I feel like I was kind of in the better range rather than the best range when I transitioned out, but I also had a very strong pipeline going into the end of the year. And I also will share with you, so I'll share with you next week a radical action that I took to springboard my business as I transitioned out. So you got to come back next week if you want to hear what that was. You got to come back next week for that. So yeah, so like before we even launched into the plan, there was that preparation that needed to happen. There were some ducks I needed to get into a row before I actually was able to come up with a plan that was executable, sustainable, and worked with what my life looked like at that point in my journey, right? And so, reducing your hours is not an all or nothing at your full time job. Hiring a coach and then being very clear about the numbers and the timeline, that good, better, best. Like, what would be that center of the bullseye? What's that second ring? What's that third ring? If you hit the good numbers, you still can make a move. If you don't hit the good numbers, you might want to extend your stay, right? And again, it's not an all or nothing. It's a yes and. And I have a few clients that are like, yeah, I want to grow my business, but I have stock options. I got to wait for those to vest. That's fine. No one says that you have to go anywhere right this second. I want you to always come to this with um, an open mind and open heart. That you are open to opportunities as they come, and don't be surprised that you may get hired as a consultant back at your current job. Like, we've seen that too quite a bit. We've seen folks transition out and then get hired back as a consultant, and so they can do those reduced hours, right? And so I just want you to think creatively about this pre-plan. So there are ducks that you want to get in a row before you actually start putting together your big game plan to transition out. You want to see that you can commit more hours to it. You want to get some professional help to get it done. And then you want to be very clear about those numbers and the timeline in which you need to get it done. So once again, I am Keita Williams. I am the founder and chief strategist of Success Bully, and I cannot leave this live stream without extending the invitation that if you are struggling to kind of define your corporate escape route, or you're feeling stuck in your business, I want to extend the invitation to book a strategy session with me. You can reach out to Lucille, our concierge in the community, or you can book a call at successbully.com/call. You can skip the line, get on my calendar, and I would happily spend a few minutes with you to think creatively about that pre-plan and the actual strategy to get it done. And so I wish you all a great rest of the week. I hope that this week is filled with gifts and opportunities for you. And definitely reach out if you need any additional support. I am Keita Williams, and let's get after it.